Have you been wondering how to make projects that have these really cool contours around the outside of them? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. Hello my CNC brother or sister, I'm Garrett with IDC Woodcraft, your CNC router bit supply company. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to design out really cool shaped signs like this. It is so easy to do, but we look at it, we're not really sure what to do. I'm going to teach you in the Vectric software how to do profiles like this. You can get super creative. You're going to learn a lot of little tips and tricks along the way that you don't normally get in videos on the design software. So we're going to get to the Vectric design software and I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. Now I want to make a note for you that you can do this type of thing in any design software. So it doesn't matter if you use Fusion 360, Carveco, Easel, or the Vectric vcarve software. You can do this in any of them. So we're going to get into the Vectric software and design this kind of cool sign. And you get super creative with this. So let's go. idcwoodcraft.com. All right, I am in the vcarve Pro software. That's the Vectric software. But again, remember you can do this in any design software. So what we're going to do is open up a project and just take some random size. You can do this in any size you want. So we're going to come over to Create File, select that, and I'm going with a project that is I'm going to do 24 inches wide by 16 inches tall, which is the size of that Home Sweet Home sign I just showed you. We're going to work off the top of the material and we are going to use the lower left corner as our start point. So here's where this thing gets so super easy. We're going to click OK. And the way you start this off is with a rectangle. Any size, doesn't really matter. I'm going to just pick a random rectangle that's going to fit inside the material size that we just created of 24 wide by 16 tall. So we're going to come up to Create Vectors and come to the rectangle and select that. And we're not going to worry about any of the rectangle settings in here. I'm just simply going to come up to the upper left corner, doesn't matter really which corner you select, and I'm going to just hold my left mouse button down and drag out, and you can see I'm starting to form a rectangle. That's what the dotted line is. And I'm going to come to the lower right corner, about an inch or two in from that and from the edge, and I'm just going to let it go. We're going to close the rectangle feature. Now while the rectangle is selected, we want to come over to Transform Objects and come to the last icon to the right. It looks like a little white target. Align Selected Objects, select that, and up at the very top, we're going to align to Material. These three icons will align the selected vector, which is currently the rectangle, relative to the material itself. So we have a 24 wide by 16 tall. This will center the rectangle based on that material. So when I click it, you'll see the rectangle adjusts just a little bit to get itself centered. Here we go. And the rectangle is now positioned center on the project. Now this is where things get really easy to create all these cool contours on a sign like this, and you can get super creative. But what we're going to do is basically this concept here, where we're going to have the two little radiuses here. We'll have a little turn in here. We'll get a little radius here, and we're going to form it around all four corners. It's all going to be symmetrical. So let's do that. And here's how we do it. We go select Circle up in Create Vectors. Click that, and don't worry about the size of the circle in here. All we're going to do is come out and do the same thing we did with the rectangle. We are going to simply make big circles. So what you want to do on the side first is move up and down the line, and if your software has this ability, you see that dashed line that's popping in. That's the center line of that rectangle. So we're there, we're going to come out somewhere out in the left, and we still have that dashed line, And so we're going to go with that. Now I'm going to hold the left mouse button down and I'm going to drag out and I'm going to create a circle. And I think we'll go to about that size. And I'm going to use the arrow keys to move this circle in. So we're going to just use the arrow keys to move it left. You can do that while the thing is selected. So I'll position it right about there. Now we're going to create another circle somewhere on the left area of this rectangle. So I'm going to go back into circle mode and then come back up here above the rectangle, and we'll just somewhere hover over here, create another circle, and I want a bigger circle. Now you'll understand this in just a second. So I've let this go, and I'm going to close the circle and then use my arrow keys and come up and get the edge of that circle right along the top, just like that. Now the reason we are making such large circles is because we want a very gentle radius. We don't want a hard radius where it comes in really sharp. So we want a big, big circle, and you can already start to see what I'm doing. I'm taking a piece of a circle and I'm gonna create this shape here. So what we're gonna do with this circle is add another circle. So I'm going to come back in, select circles under Create Vectors, and I'm going to come up to the corner and simply select the corner of that. So I hover right over the corner, hold my left mouse button down, and just drag that circle out about like that. What I'm going to do now is trim out the circle, and you'll see how this is going to form. So we're going to come over to Edit Objects. That's this area right here, and we're going to come down to the scissors, which is the trim function. And then come over, you see we have little scissors as an icon. And we're going to start by trimming the straight lines. Simply hover over inside the circle, over the straight line, and cut. And do that on all three circles that we just created. And now we're going to trim the outer circles. Just like that. And look at that, we've already got the basics of this whole thing set up. So now we're going to create this all the way around the rest of the project. So what we want to do is we want to use this area right here, the upper left corner, and we're going to mirror it to the upper right corner, and then we're going to mirror both of them to the lower quadrant of this project. But we have to segment this away from the rest of the rectangle. So I'm going to take a polyline under Create Vectors, the second row down, the first icon in, it says Draw a Line. Select that and come down and simply hover somewhere in the middle of the project until that dashed line comes up. I'm going to create a line and just come out over to wherever, and I'll hit the space button. The space button will stop that line and enable me to start another one, and then I'm going to come up this area right up in the upper middle of the rectangle, and you see that dashed line is showing up again. We'll simply click there again, start a line, just come somewhere up to the top and create that line. We'll hit the escape button to get out of the line mode. And now we'll come to get the scissors again under Edit Objects and hover over the rest of the rectangle that is not part of the upper left corner. Just anywhere, and it will cut away the rest of that rectangle. Close that, and we no longer need these two lines. So I'm going to select them both, and the way we select them is by holding the left mouse button down and just crossing over from right to left. All we have to do is touch the lines and then let go, and both of those are selected. Press the delete button on your keyboard and they will disappear. Now we're going to select this contour that we just created. Well, before we do that, we want to do one other thing. We're going to smooth things out. So we see we got sharp corners here. We want to get more gentle on these corners. We want to just round it out, give the whole sign just that kind of soft edges going all the way around. So we're going to put radiuses on the corners of these little corners in the project. So what we're going to do is come down to the area Edit Objects, and the third row of icons down, the first one, it says Fillet. Now fillet is a radius. So we're going to select that, and now we're going to enter in a number at the top. And that number, we will make a radius of 0.25. You can select any number you want to do these things. But what we want is the fillet type. We want the first one, which is a normal fillet. Make sure that is selected. And then hover over the corner of each sharp transition, which is what we have right here, and just click. And now we have a radius. If you don't like that radius, if it's too small or too big, simply click over it again and it'll undo. Now you can see we had a little issue come up here. We lost our circle. So hit Control and press Z and press Z again, and we have undone that fillet. So I'm going to add that because I do want that 1/4 inch to these two right there. Now for this area right in here, I want a much broader, longer fillet. So we're going to come back into the fillet area and change that 1/4 inch to 1. That's going to be a 1 inch radius. And then hover over this corner right there, select it, and you can see it rounded it out. We're going to do the same thing on the left side. Find that corner, hover over it, click it, and it rounded it out. And then we'll do the same to this area right here. So we've now softened all the corners of this component of the sign, the Home Sweet Home sign we're going to build. We'll close that, and now all we have to do is mirror this and connect the elements that we mirrored. I'll explain that here as we go along, but we're going to use the mirror function now, another cool tool in the Vectric software. So we're going to come over to Transform Objects and move over to this Mirror Selected Objects and click that. Then we have to select the corner that we have designed for this sign and simply come over and flip horizontal. Click flip horizontal. Now you want to make sure that the create mirrored copy is selected so that it keeps the original in place. So I'm going to show you an example. I'm going to unclick that and we're going to click flip horizontal, and now you can see it just mirrored the component, but it eliminated the original component. So we want to make sure that we keep the original copy. Press Control Z on your keyboard to undo. Come down and make sure that checkbox, Create Mirrored Copy, is checked, and then click Flip Horizontal. And now we have the upper left and upper right side of the project. What we'll do now is simply select both of the elements that we have, the left and the right, and we will flip vertical, just like that. Click Close, and now we have this basic sign that we've created with all these contours. But we're not done yet. We've got to join all these. Right now we have 4 different isolated vectors, and we need to turn this into one vector. So what we're going to do is just use a Join Vector tool in the Vectric software. So when we get in here, we're going to select 2 of the vectors. We have the upper left and the upper right. Come down to the Edit Objects. The last row at the bottom, you have several icons there. We're going to come to the 3rd one, which is Join or Close Vectors with a Smooth Curve. So we're going to click that once, and you're not going to see a lot of activity happen in the screen. But what we have just done was just joined these 2 lines at this area here. Now I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to just click somewhere in the middle to deselect that and click Control Z. Now that just undid what we just did. I'm going to click the upper left corner, and you can see that it only has selected the upper left corner but did not select the right corner. So what I'm going to do is select left and right corner, click the Join Vectors with a Smooth Curve, and then come back over and simply click in the gray space or the white space here, and then come back and click the upper left corner, and you can see now the whole thing is selected, and that's because it joined the vectors right here at this corner. Now we're going to come down and select the upper and one of the lower vectors and come over and click Join Vectors again, and you might see a little bit of change in the dashed lines. but that one is joined. So I clicked in the white space to deselect, and I'm going to click in the upper left corner again, and now you can see the upper left, upper right, and lower left corners are selected, and that means that they are joined. Now we have to join the lower right corner, and the way we'll do that again is by selecting all the vectors, click join, and I'm going to click it twice. Now the reason I had to click that twice is because we had to join the vector in the lower center here and also in the middle right as well. So now this is one complete vector, and we have designed this cool shape. A little bit more character we're going to add to this. So here's what we're going to do. So I'm going to add another little rounded area right here and right down here at the bottom. So we're going to select another circle and simply come in here, and maybe we'll just go, I don't know. You know, I'm just being totally creative. This is the fun part of the Vectric software. So I just created a circle right in the middle, got the trim. I'm going to trim that. And before I do that, before I do anything further, I want to copy this circle from the top to the bottom. Almost forgot to do that. So I'm going to select that, go to the mirror, and flip vertical. When I do that, the circle shows up down at the bottom right there, and now we can work with them. So I'm going to go back to trim, and I'm going to get this area cut out in the bottom circle. Same with the top, cut that out, and we'll add another radius to these two corners and the bottom. So we'll go back up to edit objects, come down to the fillet area, select that, and we're going to shift that back to a 1/4 inch radius. So I'll put in 0.25 and just come over, and we'll click the corners, corner there, and we'll do the same thing at the bottom. Just hover over the corner, and we have now added radiuses on all 4 corners. I'm going to close that menu, and now we have created a very cool shape. Very similar to this, but not exact. Now, one of the things with this whole shape thing, you can do anything you want. You can take rectangles and turn them and have nice sharp diamond types of shapes, all kinds of things. So it's very, very cool that you can do this. If you've learned something from this, will you please give me a thumbs up on this video? Comment down below what you learned in this video. And don't forget to subscribe to IDC Woodcraft and keep on creating. I'm Garrett with IDC Woodcraft. Have a great day, better tomorrow, and happy CNCing. idcwoodcraft.com